Good morning. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. This is the Coffee Break Show, and I'm Vickie Helm. This is where all the coffee outlaws hang out. We have a good time having a coffee break together. Happy Monday. Listen, if you're new here, if you're new to the Smart Life Club, we share insights and inspiration and motivation to help make our week better. We give constant contact. We just have a coffee break every single day, Monday through Friday, here on this channel, here in this group, here in this club. I want to say good morning to everyone. Oh my gosh. The world seems to be on fire. And today I want to talk about how do you learn to trust yourself in all the chaos that's going around the world. Good morning, everybody. I see you jumping on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us today. Do me a favor. If you're new here, put your name down below so I can see it. Good morning, Brandon. How nice to see you on. Good morning, Smart Life Club. Happy Monday. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, everyone coming on. Do me a favor. Put your name here. Put your name there. Listen, if you are watching this after the live has been and you're just new on the show, do me a favor. Write #replay down below. If you're new and you've never been here before, or if you're new coming on, right above you, about here, you're going to see a link that says StreamYard/Facebook. StreamYard/Facebook. And if you click on that, it'll have a button that comes up and says, can she see your name? Click yes, I can see your name, and bam, it comes on. Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Lori. I hope you all have your coffee logic here. I don't start my day without it. I'm so happy you guys are here. Listen, today's a big day. It looks like the world's on fire this morning, huh? We've got viruses and stock markets crashing, and things are all higgledy-piggledy around the world. We have impeachment trials and this and that and all this stuff going on that can make you. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Brandon. I'm seeing you again. Says hello, Robin. Marie Jo, thank you. Good morning all. I'm so glad you're here. Today's a really important day. Today's one of probably the most important conversations I can have with anyone, or we can talk about how is it that you learn to trust yourself? And I'm asking you too, how is it? What key factors do you have? Because when the world is on fire like this and everything is happening all at once, our mind can run off with our reason. And our reason is the thing that helps us get through these incredible times. I'm looking right now at the suffering, the absolute suffering in China right now that's going on all over the region. All their freedom is gone. Everybody's in lockdown. They're not allowed to work. They're closing factories, everything else. And I'm looking all around the world right now at it being unstable. And so what happens is you want to pay attention, but you don't want to drown in the story. And so what happens is, how do you learn to trust yourself? What's your next move? What's the next thing you want to do? So I want to tell you, throughout my life, throughout my whole life, I've had this inner voice that talked to me. It just kind of talked to me, and it would tell me what to do, this little inner nudge. And I've listened to this inner nudge, and my mind says the inner nudge comes from my soul. So I'm really clear. I have a mind and I am a soul. And that's how I think. That's how I operate. I have a mind, but I am a soul. And in this experience on earth, I have a tendency to use my mind to calculate, to read, to guide crossing the street. Is it clear left? Is it clear right? But I don't let it make definitive decisions for me. Definitive decisions always come from my soul, or I want them to constantly come from my soul. Now, there are times when I'm too scared to make the decision from my soul, and my mind is racing a mile a minute, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how do I control this demon so I can listen to something else other than my mind talk about how horrible it is, or what could happen, or what if, because the mind loves the what if story. So when I learn to trust myself, I have to learn to trust myself, the part of myself that isn't screaming at me saying, saying the sky is falling. That's my mind. My mind loves to say the sky is falling. But what is really happening, the actual discernment comes in my soul. So I have to acknowledge, okay, I see that you're saying that the sky is falling. Thank you for that information. And now I want to listen into another part of me that has more information too. Let's get all the information on the table. I want to stop and read everybody's everything because you guys are writing really fast. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at the StreamYard/Facebook. Thank you. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Oh God, I just sang out loud. I'm really sorry, people. Let's see. Hi, Lori. Good morning, everyone, says Donnie Gifford. Nice to see you. Hi, MJ. Hi, Donnie. Can you repeat that quote? I'm not sure which quote you want me to repeat. It's the end of the world as we know it. Hello, Karen Sachs. Vickie, learning to trust yourself is a powerful topic. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much. Hi, you're here, Robert Laws. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what quote I just quoted. That's the song I was referring to. Okay, but I did sing it. Okay, there you go. Vickie has incredible wisdom and discernment to address the power of this topic. Thank you so much. So, what I want to begin to say here, and what I want to talk about today is learning to trust yourself. Now, here's what we do. We have a tendency to follow the consensus. If everybody says, do this, we have a tendency to do this. But what happens in your insides when it's saying, don't go with the crowd, go over here, don't go over here? What happens when we get that moment where we are worried about what other people think of us? That's when we can stop trusting ourselves. And trusting yourself is the most important. It's like trusting yourself is the thing where you understand, you have the discernment, you have the wisdom to realize that each and every single person's path is different. So if there's 5 people that in their soul say, yes, this is the way to go, let them go. Sometimes people are like, you know what? She really knows her soul, or he really knows his soul. Wherever they go, that's where I'm going to go because they're right. That's not trusting yourself. Trusting yourself is a conversation within you. And most likely, it's not going to have a message that looks like the rest of the world. It's going to look vastly different. It's going to look completely like this is my path. And guess what? That's the whole point. You see, your life is between you and the divine, not you and me, not you and them, not you and other. It's between you and the divine. That's where you came from. You've just forgotten because you have to live on this earth and work on this earth and find your way on this earth and go through tragedy and loss and thinking and everything on this earth. But the truth is, you came to this earth. You came down to this earth. You came from the divine. You didn't come from, I got dropped off by, the stork. That the whole point is we forget our divinity. And in order to truly trust yourself, you have to remember your divinity, whatever form that comes in. And I'm not saying you have to remember your religiousness. You have to remember this. That's not what I'm saying. Divinity is very different. Divinity is religiousness. It's the direct connection between you and the divine. And before there was religions, there was a direct connection with you and the divine. You're naturally made of that stuff. So you have a brain, you have some feelings. If you get a gut check that's like, yeah, something ain't right here. Something ain't right. I wonder what this is. That comes from the divine. It's not coming from your brain. Your brain takes over and starts talking. And if that gut check says, yeah, this is actually the way I'm supposed to go. The second you surrender to the divine, you feel good. You feel aligned. You feel almost to the point like you're like, yes, I know what I'm doing. Yes, all your suffering stops. When your mind comes on and it starts trying to deal cards for you, and it's like, you could do this or this or this or this or this, or follow him and do that and jump up and down. When you get quiet inside, which means shutting the mind off, and you listen to your gut check, that person, that thing, that gut check, that's the leader of the band. It's something else that's talking to you that isn't your mind. To me, I let my soul talk to me because that's who I am. My mind is there to help my soul achieve its goals. It's not the other way around. Your soul's here to help your mind achieve your goals. The only goal your mind has is to sabotage your efforts. It's very negative. It'll have a negative conversation with a negative outcome. It'll be like, oh my God, look how dark and black everything in the world is. Then we try to teach our mind to be positive. Why? If you just listen to your soul, it's naturally positive. It naturally knows the way. It's hooked up to the divine. Where we lose and we don't trust ourselves is we don't trust our inner soul. We trust our mind more than our soul. And I think that needs to transform. When you trust your soul more than your mind, because your mind is conniving, it's got a very deep shadow. It can sabotage you. It takes a lot of training to get your mind to cooperate with you. It's the whole thing of Buddhism, isn't it? It's mind training. So let's see, the very first one. I'm listening to the replay and I listen to the replay and post. Okay, thank you. I'll listen to the replay and post. Thank you for singing, Vickie. Thank you for acknowledging that I sang. Trusting yourself is a conversation within you. You should be vastly different from the rest of the world. That's from Karen. Trusting yourself is a conversation within you. You should be vastly different from the rest of the world. Brandon says suffering can cause us to feel bad for ourselves or teach us to trust ourselves and build us into a better person. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting statement, Brandon, and I kind of agree with it. Suffering can do that. You can go this way. It's like your thoughts. They either empower you or impair you. That's it. They either empower you or impair you. And what are you allowing your thoughts to do? And to me, we pay so much attention to our thoughts. We don't actually pay attention to who we are. And you are not your thinking. You are not what you know. You are not what you have learned. You are not where you go or how much money you make. That's not you at all. You're not your successes. You're not your personality. Your personality dies with the body. What goes left is the soul, right? So if you understand that you aren't your personality, you aren't your mind, you aren't these things, what are you? What are you comes down to the basic thing. If you trust yourself, you have to identify what yourself is so that you can trust it. So often we are trusting what we are not, that we're not trusting ourselves in the moment. You get that from moment to moment to moment. This is a big conversation. You have to understand the difference between your brain and your soul, because the brain loves to come on and say, you know what? I am the boss. And really, it's the soul that's the boss. The brain was meant to be a helper, like a right arm or a left arm. Just imagine one morning if you woke up out of bed and your left arm came up and said, today I'm the boss. You do exactly what I say. You feel the way I tell you. You'll do what I say. And you're being usurped by your left arm. You're like, this is what's going to happen today. Who tells that arm what to do? No, it's not in charge. You're in charge, right? But who is you that's in charge? So the you that's in charge is that soul. And that soul, I believe 100% of the time, has never let me down, has always made me go in the correct direction. It's always giving me the proper gut check, the people to put in front of me. It has always done that. When I argue with my soul and I let my mind tell me what to do, that's when I've always had problems. Or if I have a hidden agenda that I'm too afraid to come out and say, like, maybe you're intimidated by telling somebody you love them or you like them or whatever else, and you try to, ploy your way through there, get a ploy going. That's when you sabotage yourself as well. That's all your mind. But your soul, just in general, your soul has with it all the answers that you need. and it tells you where to go. It tells you go left to right. It's got all your guardians with you that you would think. Your soul is your guardian. It is who you are. And your brain doesn't understand that. So in how do you learn to trust yourself? The first step in learning to trust yourself is to know who yourself is. You have to know who yourself is. You're not your thinking. You are a soul. Once you understand the soul, then you can begin to go ahead and see the power of it, which is soul. Your soul has direct knowing, direct seeing, direct being. It has direct knowingness. It's immediate. The soul doesn't use words to talk to you. The brain does. But the soul uses nudges and gut feelings and inner knowings. That the soul doesn't use language. It uses a completely different languaging. It doesn't use words. And it's that part of you that's like, something ain't right here, or wow, there's something about that person over there. Your mind doesn't fall in love. Your soul and your heart fall in love. It's like any of those parts of you, you have to know what you want to trust first. Now, when you trust that, when you deeply surrender to that, it will tell you where to go, what to do, how to do it, when it happens, and you will find this flow starts to happen in your life. This flow begins to unfold, and all the happiness and bliss starts being able to be here. When something does happen to you, like say an illness or a diagnosis or something that could shock you, you know how to tap into your soul, and it'll tell you what to do first. It'll tell you how to be or act or react. So let's see. Thank you for singing. Trusting yourself is a conversation within. Yes, it is a conversation within. Let's see. The interesting thing about trusting your soul or heart is that you are 100% accurate and on track. When we wrestle with the mind, it often feels like a struggle. Robin, that is so true. It's so true. I got to read this again. The interesting thing about trusting your soul or your heart, you're 100% accurate and on track. When we wrestle with our minds, it often feels like a struggle. That is so true. It's Brandon said, it's a fork in the road. Yes. Somebody from Smart Life Club says, don't be oblivious to what is around you, but when you stay calm, you'll be more prepared to address it. Yes, I'm not sure who that is on the Smart Life Club, but thank you for being there. Don't be oblivious to what is around you, but when you stay calm, you will be more prepared to address it. Absolutely, that's so true. Stop trusting what you are not. Start trusting what you are. That's the key. We always trust what we are not, and we don't trust what we are, and we don't learn how to use what we are. And there's so much talent and opportunity in getting to understand how we operate as people and the beautifulness of the gifts we have that we can use in the moment. We have to surrender every moment of every day to that which we know innately in ourselves. Our mind helps us read, it helps us calculate, it helps us discern and have perception, but it is not the leader. And the thing is, we live so much as the mind as our leader that we forget where the leader of us is. Let's see, stop trusting what you are and start trusting what you, I'm sorry, it bumped up. Stop trusting what you are not and start trusting what you are. Thank you, Karen. That's beautiful. Brandon says, sometimes submission to trust in ourselves isn't always easy, but it's absolutely necessary. Yes, because it shows you the way out. We are more tortured by our mind than anything else in the world. More tortured by our thinking than anything else in the world. We're impaired more often by our mind than our body, than any other single thing in the world. So having that, knowing where to go to untangle the mystery of that mind and going to your soul or listening to your heart and going inward to your soul through your heart, all of that is a first step. It's a necessary step in trusting yourself and learning to trust yourself when you're at the deal on the table looking at it. When I sign things, when I buy things, I'm like, do I need this now? I listen in and bam, if I do, I get it. Let's see. Sometimes submission is sometimes submission to trust in yourselves isn't always easy, but it's always absolutely necessary. Thank you. Thanks for that, Daniel Briel. Thanks for joining Jennifer Jane Potlet Jones. Jennifer Jones. There's a lot of people. Jennifer Janine Potlet Jones. Thank you. Let's see. Submission to self. Good point. Increasing awareness of that place. That is absolutely necessary. Upon reflection, we can see when we follow that, there's ease. When we ignore it, it's so much harder. You're right. If you follow your soul, there's so much more ease. I will promise you that. Donald says, soul is the observer, always watching, always there. The ego and the mind are constantly fighting over the steering wheel. That is the most beautiful thing. This is so true. I have to read this again. It's just so fundamentally honest. It's so fundamentally true. Donald says, soul is the observer, always watching, always there. The ego and the mind are constantly fighting over who has the steering wheel of you. But more than that, the soul is you, and you keep giving your steering wheel to the ego and the mind. And that is so important, what you just said, Donald. Lori says, I read recently to trust our gut feelings because that is how God talks to us. And I really believe that. Yes, me too. That is absolutely it for me, Lori. It doesn't use words. Our mind uses words. A gut feeling, I read recently to trust our gut feeling because that is how God talks to us. And I really believe that. Me too. Suzanne, hey, Suzanne. Trusting your heart and soul is a leap of faith that can never go wrong. Why? Because it's your heart's desire. Yes. That should be a bumper sticker. It should be on a t-shirt. Trusting your heart and soul is a leap of faith that can never go wrong. Why? Because it's your heart's desire. When you trust your heart and your soul, it's your heart's desire. I get that. I love that. It's also guidance. It's your heart's guidance. It's amazing. It's the journey that's meant to be. Yes, when we follow our soul, when we look at that, we are trusting ourselves at the highest level. But more than that, we are learning again to do what we've forgotten to do, which is communicate with the divine. When you're following your soul, you're following the direction, you're surrendering to the divine, to that part of you that is connected to divine. That's the first step to kind of getting home, to getting anywhere, is that trusting that moment and following it. No matter what it brings, trust it. Trust its lesson, trust its vision, trust its path. A lot of times what happens is we step out in faith, and then the mind comes on and says stuff like, well, this isn't how it was supposed to go. I stepped out in faith and it didn't go the way I wanted it to. Can you see how that's not faith at all? Faith isn't having everything go exactly according to how you planned it. It's listening and stepping out in faith according to his plan for you, or the plan for you, or the spiritual plan for you. A lot of people are like, I've already trusted once and it didn't come out at all like the way I wanted it to. Can you see that? That's the ego. The ego doesn't know how to trust. And if your ego has been like, I did this once and I got so screwed, I really, I don't have any faith in this anymore. You are literally living and learning from your ego. And we have to tell the difference between the I of the ego and the I of the soul. And this eye of the soul is here. But the ego right now, when it talks, it can cloud everything. It can look spiritual, can make you look like you did things you didn't do. Like, well, I followed the advice and I followed this and I still didn't get what I want. Well, the universe isn't a candy machine where you put a quarter in and suddenly your bubble gum comes out. Here it is. This is, I got what I wanted. This isn't about getting what you want. It's about trusting yourself to follow the path that is already created for you. What if there was something out there better for you than what you think about? What if there was something out there better for you than what you know? What if there was something better for you out there that if you just listened in, it would be able to materialize and show you, unfold for you, what you actually truly want, not what you think you want. And that's vastly different. So I'm going to go back over here. Robin says, The ego and the mind are always fighting over the steering wheel. Don, that is genius. Great analogy. I know, right? That was so good. All right, Donald, I love the steering wheel analogy. Evidently, Donald, everybody thinks that what you just said was just fabulous, and I totally agree with that. But I want you to know, this is the real dilemma, and this is how I learned to trust myself. One morning, I realized that I had been living a lie. The lie that I was my personality and that I was my thinking. And whatever my thoughts said I was, I was. I learned that that was absolutely a lie. And what happened then was I began to wonder, well, if I'm not that, who am I? What am I? Why am I? And I realized that there is something greater than my personality. There is something deeper, better, and stronger than just my personality. If I let my mind run things, I would not be happy. I'd be sabotaging myself. I wouldn't be able to be on the show live. I wouldn't be able to do anything. But when I am following and surrendering to what it is that the divine wants me to do, when I get here every morning, every single morning, the last prayer I say before I go live is, speak through me. Give me the words that you want me to say. When I surrender to that, I am practicing letting the divine come through me. And when I let the divine through me, let the divine through me, I get to be a servant to the public and myself. I get to be the servant. And when you are the servant 100% of the time and you are talking from that place, you are strengthening that muscle within you so that you can use it to bring more success. It doesn't matter how much success you have. What happens with success, the most important thing that happens, whether it's relationship success or health success or wealth success or whatever kind of success you drive or you want to belong to, your insides know what kind of success you want, the truth of the kind of success you want. Your mind will make up stuff. It'll be like, well, if I get this new car, I'll be successful and look sexy. If I drop 1 million pounds and I'll be successful and I'll do this. Your soul knows the success you actually want. And until you get to find and follow that message, that divine connection, and follow that, let it unfold out of you instead of trying to find it outside of you, you won't be able to connect the dots. The important thing is to understand that when I die, I'm not a girl anymore. When I die, I'm not Vickie Helm anymore. What am I? That core essence of you is powerful and it knows the way forward. And if you want to learn how to trust yourself so you have more success in your life, the most important thing you can do is surrender to that inner voice and get to know it. It has direct knowing, direct seeing, directions, and direct connection. That's what I have for you today on this Monday. Let's make it a great week. Don't let the world run off with your reason. Don't let the world run off with your reason. There's a lot going on in the world right now. You can pay attention to it. Just don't make it the truth. Make this the truth. Peace out, guys. See you later.